General Hospital spoilers will reveal. Rumors and early teasers surrounding General Hospital suggest that Felicia Scorpio experienced one of the most uncomfortable and unexpected moments of her life during a routine visit to the hospital. The moment itself did not arrive with warning or preparation. It appeared suddenly, in the most ordinary place imaginable. Felicia had simply stepped away for a moment, walking toward the water dispenser in the hallway, expecting nothing more than a quiet pause during an otherwise emotional day. Instead, what she saw stopped her cold. In a brief but unmistakable instant, she witnessed something she never imagined she would see. Her son-in-law Nathan sharing an intimate kiss with Lulu. The sight was so shocking that it seemed to freeze the world around her, turning an ordinary hospital corridor into the stage of a deeply unsettling revelation. The emotional impact of that discovery cannot be understated. Felicia has always viewed Nathan as someone who loved her daughter deeply, a man who had fought his way back into Maxie's life under mysterious and extraordinary circumstances. Seeing him with Lulu did not simply create confusion, it shattered the image she had carefully rebuilt in her mind. For Felicia, this was not merely about romance or betrayal. It was about trust, family, and the fragile hope she had clung to since Maxie awakened from her long and terrifying coma. In that moment, she was forced to question everything she believed about the man who had returned to Port Charles claiming to be the same Nathan Maxie had married. For months, Felicia had been one of Nathan's strongest defenders. When questions surfaced about his identity, his memories, and the strange circumstances surrounding his return, Felicia refused to doubt him. She insisted that a mother could recognize the truth behind a person's eyes, and she believed she had seen that truth in Nathan. Even before the DNA tests confirmed his identity, Felicia had confidently reassured Maxie that the man standing before them was real. She believed his mannerisms, his voice, and the quiet affection he showed Maxie were unmistakable signs that the man she once welcomed into the family had truly come back. Her certainty gave Maxie the courage to trust again. That certainty is now the very thing haunting Felicia the most. Watching Nathan with Lulu forces her to confront a painful possibility she never wanted to consider. If Nathan truly is the man he claims to be, then his behavior now raises troubling questions about his loyalty and intentions. Yet if he is not the same man Felicia believed he was, then the situation becomes even darker and more complicated. Felicia finds herself trapped between two terrifying explanations. Either the man she defended so fiercely has changed in ways she cannot understand, or the truth about his identity is far more dangerous than anyone imagined. Another layer of tension comes from the timing of this discovery. Maxie has only recently regained consciousness, and her recovery remains emotionally delicate. Felicia has been fiercely protective of her daughter, determined to shield her from any stress that might slow her healing. The last thing Maxie needs is a painful revelation about her marriage, or the possibility that her husband's heart may no longer belong solely to her. Felicia understands this better than anyone, which makes her next decision even more agonizing. The knowledge she now carries feels like a ticking clock, forcing her to decide whether silence would protect Maxie or whether hiding the truth would ultimately cause even greater damage. Complicating matters further is the presence of Lulu herself. Lulu has always been a complex figure in the lives of the people around her, someone whose history with Nathan is layered with shared memories, unresolved emotions, and moments that blur the line between friendship and something deeper. Felicia cannot ignore that history. Watching the kiss made it impossible to dismiss the possibility that their connection never truly disappeared. The sight suggested something deeper than a brief lapse in judgment. It hinted at a relationship that might have been quietly growing beneath the surface while everyone else was focused on Maxie's recovery. The looming question now becomes whether Felicia will act quickly or hesitate in silence. Lulu and Nathan may believe their secret remains hidden, unaware that Felicia has already seen enough to understand what is happening. If Felicia chooses to confront them directly, the truth could explode before they have the chance to explain themselves. If she instead rushes to Maxie, the revelation could arrive like a storm, leaving Nathan and Lulu no opportunity to prepare for the fallout. Either choice could permanently alter the fragile balance within their circle of relationships. What makes the situation even more heartbreaking is Felicia's realization that she may soon have to admit she was wrong. She had spoken with such confidence about Nathan's authenticity, reassuring Maxie and everyone else that the man they were welcoming back into their lives had not changed. Now the evidence before her suggests something very different. The man she believed in so completely may not be the same person at all, or at the very least, he is capable of actions that would devastate her daughter. For Felicia, the truth is no longer a simple matter of identity. It has become a painful test of loyalty, courage, and the willingness to face consequences that could shake her entire family. There is a powerful argument that Felicia, as Maxie's mother, carries a responsibility that goes beyond simple observation or quiet hesitation. Discovering something as explosive as a possible betrayal involving Nathan and Lulu places her in a position that few parents would ever want to face. Yet the question remains unavoidable. Should she intervene immediately and expose what she witnessed, or should she hesitate for the sake of preserving a fragile moment of peace in her daughter's life? When it comes to family, especially a daughter who has only recently recovered from a life-threatening ordeal, the instinct to protect often clashes with the obligation to be honest. For Felicia, the weight of motherhood means she cannot easily pretend that she never saw what happened in that hospital hallway. Felicia's own complicated history makes the situation even more emotionally layered. She is not someone who has lived a perfectly straightforward life. Over the years, her story has been marked by secrets, mistakes, and moments when the truth was hidden for reasons that seemed justified at the time. Within the world of Port Charles, betrayal and deception are hardly rare, and Felicia has witnessed and sometimes participated in more than her share of tangled situations. Because of this past, some might argue that Felicia understands better than anyone how dangerous hidden truths can become once they begin to unravel. The memories of past betrayals may now echo in her mind, reminding her that silence rarely protects anyone for long. At the same time, it would be unfair to judge Felicia solely by her earlier missteps. People grow, and time has reshaped her priorities in ways that are impossible to ignore. There was a period when her choices did not always place her children at the center of every decision, something that even her closest friends quietly acknowledged. Yet the years have given her a chance to change that narrative. As a grandmother, Felicia has devoted herself to her family with a level of devotion and emotional presence that seems to reflect a deep desire to make up for the moments she once missed. Those years of growth have transformed her into someone who understands how fragile family bonds can be when trust begins to crack. Because of that transformation, the likelihood that Felicia would deliberately hide such a painful truth from Maxie seems incredibly small. Her instinct now is to protect her daughter not only from immediate harm, but also from living inside a lie. Felicia understands that betrayal is far more destructive when it is discovered too late, when months or even years of deception have piled up beneath the surface. Allowing Maxie to remain unaware of what might be happening between Nathan and Lulu would mean letting her daughter continue building her emotional future on unstable ground. For someone who has spent years trying to repair old mistakes, repeating that pattern would feel like an unforgivable step backward. Ultimately, Felicia stands at a crossroads that demands courage rather than comfort. Her past may be filled with complicated choices, but the woman she has become now understands the value of honesty within a family. The pain of revealing the truth could be immense, especially for a daughter who has already endured so much. Yet, Felicia also knows that real love sometimes requires confronting harsh realities instead of protecting illusions. If there is even the slightest chance that Maxie is being betrayed, Felicia's sense of responsibility as a mother will likely outweigh every other fear. For that reason, the possibility that she would keep silent feels almost impossible. In the end, Felicia's greatest loyalty will almost certainly remain where it has always belonged, with her daughter. When Maxie finally learns the truth from Felicia, the emotional shock hits her far harder than she initially expects. The revelation is not simply about Nathan and Lulu sharing a moment that should never have happened. For Maxie, it immediately stirs a deep and unsettling fear that something in her life has quietly shifted without her noticing. She had only recently regained stability after awakening from her long coma, believing that the man standing beside her was the same husband she had loved for years. Hearing that Nathan was seen in an intimate moment with Lulu feels like a crack spreading through the fragile foundation she had just begun to rebuild. Even more painful is the realization that the betrayal might not have been a sudden mistake, but a sign of something deeper changing within Nathan himself. Maxie's first reaction is not explosive anger, but a quiet, heavy resistance to the idea that Nathan and Lulu could ever become a couple. Lulu may have been part of their extended circle for years, but the thought of her forming a romantic bond with Nathan feels like a violation of the trust that once defined their relationships. Maxie cannot easily accept a world in which the two people closest to her emotionally might drift toward each other behind her back. The possibility makes every memory feel distorted, as if moments that once seemed harmless might now carry hidden meanings she failed to see at the time. For Maxie, the betrayal is not only about love, but about loyalty, and the silent expectations that exist within a family of friends who have survived so much together. What unsettles Maxie even more is the growing sense that the man she sees now does not entirely match the Nathan she once knew. At first, these differences appear subtle, almost too small to articulate clearly. Certain expressions seem unfamiliar. Some reactions feel colder or strangely distant. There are moments when Nathan hesitates in ways that the old Nathan never would have, or when his responses seem calculated rather than instinctive. These small inconsistencies begin to gather in Maxie's mind like fragments of a puzzle she cannot ignore. The man beside her carries Nathan's face and voice, yet something beneath the surface feels altered, as if the person she loved has been replaced by a version that looks identical but moves through the world differently. Instead of confronting Nathan directly, Maxie chooses a far more cautious path. Her instincts tell her that rushing into accusations might only drive the truth further away. Quietly and methodically, she begins observing him more closely, paying attention to details she once overlooked. She revisits old memories, comparing them with Nathan's recent behavior, searching for patterns that might explain the strange feeling growing inside her. This silent investigation becomes a way for Maxie to regain control in a situation that feels increasingly unpredictable. Every unanswered question pushes her deeper into the need to uncover the truth, even if that truth might ultimately shatter her heart. As Maxie digs further, the discoveries she begins to uncover feel far more disturbing than she ever imagined. The inconsistencies surrounding Nathan's past start to multiply, suggesting that the man she welcomed back into her life may be hiding more than a simple emotional conflict with Lulu. Documents, memories, and subtle clues begin pointing towards secrets that were never meant to surface. What begins as suspicion about a possible romantic betrayal slowly transforms into a much darker realization. Maxie starts to understand that the mystery surrounding Nathan may reach far beyond feelings or loyalty. The deeper she looks, the more it becomes clear that the truth about Nathan could change everything she thought she knew about the man she once trusted completely. Nathan begins to sense that something has shifted in Maxie's behavior. The subtle distance in her eyes, the way she watches him a little longer than usual, and the careful silence that now fills their conversations all signal that she may have uncovered more than he ever intended her to know. For a man who has spent weeks maintaining a carefully controlled image, even the smallest change in Maxie's demeanor is enough to trigger alarm. Rather than confronting the situation directly, Nathan appears to retreat into a calculated strategy of avoidance. He becomes evasive whenever Maxie tries to draw closer to the truth, redirecting conversations, disappearing at unexpected moments, and surrounding himself with distractions designed to keep attention away from him. At the same time, his interactions with Lulu begin to take on a darker tone. Instead of appearing like two people caught in an emotional mistake, it increasingly seems as though Nathan is manipulating the situation, positioning Lulu in a way that could deflect suspicion from himself if things begin to unravel. What makes this development especially frightening is the growing possibility that Nathan may not be the man he has been pretending to be. The more Maxie quietly observes him, the more it appears that his behavior is guided by calculation rather than genuine emotion. Lulu, who may believe she is involved in a complicated romantic entanglement, could actually be walking straight into a trap she does not fully understand. Nathan's ability to shift blame, redirect attention, and maintain control over how others perceive him suggests a level of deception that goes far beyond a simple affair. If his instincts are truly that manipulative, then Lulu may be nothing more than a convenient shield in a larger plan designed to protect his secrets. In that light, the man living under Nathan's name begins to look less like a conflicted husband and more like someone playing a dangerous role, a figure capable of using the people closest to him as pieces in a game whose true purpose remains hidden.